Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Cobalt, and in this video I'm going to go over another example of practice problems dealing with the classification of substances. So let's get into this. So in this particular problem, we're given a container of baking powder, and on the label it says that it contains cornstarch, sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is the formula here, sodium aluminum sulfate, and calcium dihydrogen phosphate. And again, we have the formula for that substance there. And they want us to identify the following substances as either a pure substance or a mixture. And if it's a pure substance, is it an element or a compound? So let's take a look at what we have here. So the first substance is calcium. So, first, you want to ask yourself, calcium, is that something found on the periodic table? And it certainly is. Also, it can be represented by a formula. In this case, the symbol is Ca. We see that here in the calcium dihydrogen phosphate. And so, given that we can find this on the periodic table of elements, that indicates that calcium is an element. It is a pure substance because we can identify it by a formula. So there it is. That's going to be a pure substance and it's going to be an element. What about calcium dihydrogen phosphate? So for calcium dihydrogen phosphate, we do have a formula here. And so again, one of the things you're looking for if you want to identify something as a pure substance or mixture is whether or not that substance can be represented by a formula and only one formula. And so in this case, we have a formula here. And so that would indicate that dihydrogen phosphate is a pure substance. Also, remember that pure substances do not vary in their composition, right? So here, for this substance here, we want to identify that either as an element or a compound. Again, you're not going to find calcium dihydrogen phosphate on the periodic table of elements, so it can't be an element, so therefore it must be a compound. Also, a dead giveaway that it's a compound is that, look, it's made up of more than one kind of element. So that is going to be a compound because compounds can be broken down into simpler elements because it is made up of more than one kind of element. So this would definitely be a compound. And also, one of the definitions of a compound is something that does not vary in its composition. And so you'll notice that the formula is tells us what the composition is, what the ratios are between the parts of your formula, the hydrogen, the phosphate, the oxygen, and the calcium. And so that also is a indicator that this is a compound. And then finally, baking powder. Baking powder, we're told, is contains cornstarch, sodium hydrogen carbonate, this formula here, sodium aluminum sulfate, and calcium dihydrogen phosphate. So we already identified these as compounds. So if your baking powder is made up of all of these different compounds, then that's going to be a mixture. So also you can change the variation in the composition of these ingredients in your baking powder. You can increase the cornstarch and lower the sodium hydrogen carbonate content, or you can increase the calcium dihydrogen phosphate content and lower the sodium aluminum sulfate. So you can change all of that, but it's still going to be baking powder. So again, that's going to be an indicator that it is a mixture. And so that is how you identify and classify your substances as either pure substance or mixture. And if it's a pure substance, how you identify it as either an element or a compound. So I hope this is helpful. If you enjoyed this video, then please, by all means, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Also, make sure you hit the like button And subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And when you do, make sure you click all so you can be notified by all the videos I put out. And then finally, put a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Ask me questions. If you have an idea for a video, if you want me to do a video on a topic or a question, please let me know. I would love to do that for you. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.